Does anybody watch Housewives here? No. So they have like they had one of the things was, they had a break solid ice ball. Where you had to sunk your way. So there was
Is it worth that much?
well, what kind of a good but that was only one point of it. They had like to do all these other things. I would have failed on that one. Yeah.
You didn't happen to bring it, did you?
So I'll put them away. I don't.
Oh, sorry, get off the phone. Oh, but they'll tell me we'll drive away. Half hour.
I don't see any lipstick with hearts on it. Scratch them.
Here's the note bags.
Oh, yeah. Well, I finally picked that one off. Did you? Yep. Oh, yeah. So I'm the hospital. She said, that's what she knows.
I like the
Oh, God, that is terrible there. We walk at night, so sometimes we don't have our, we can hear them. Here they are, the party.
people
Some people believe, that's why I was in a restaurant. Some people believe that they want people to get it. The more they get it,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and start the board meeting for today. First of all, welcome all. We have some good business to attend to, I guess. And we will start with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Booyah.
All right, this is an owners meeting only, so if we have any renters, we'll ask them to please excuse themselves. All right, we'll start with roll call. Ron Tucker, president, is present. Sherry Boggs, vice president.
Present.
Secretary Joyce Weaver.
Present.
Treasurer Paula Wilcox.
Present.
And member George Trumacher. I hope I said that right.
Close enough, Don. Yes, I'm here.
I like to call him George K.
Close enough, Don.
Okay, proof of notice. The affidavit notice was posted on January 24th, 2022 at the office in the clubhouse and 2 locations on condominium property. It was signed by the Secretary Joyce Weaver, dated 1/24/22, and notarized by Tammy Gardner, our notary public. Move on to the approval of the December 17th, 2021 meeting minutes. A motion to approve the December 17th meeting minutes from 2021.
I make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes from December 17th, 2021.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. The meeting minutes of December 17th were approved. All right, we will move on to the, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Okay, the treasurer's, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The treasurer's report for December 31st, 2021. Our reconciled balance in checking account and our cash on hand, we have $321,592. Accounts receivable is $42,453, which brings us to a grand total of $325,836. In our reserves and money market CDs, $767,694.59. The social account, including bingo, pickleball, shuffleboard, so on, $35,306. In the month of December, we were under budget $12,453, which brings us to a grand total for the year of $92,782. And that is the report.
Motion to accept the minutes from the treasury report. We're not hot.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we'll move on to the new business. The first thing is to appoint the hearing committee members. Do we have a list of the hearing committee
Yeah.
members?
Am I hot? Okay,
Nope.
on January 18th, we had a meeting to convene to appoint the new hearing committee and figure out positions. We have, the chair is gonna be Lynn Murray, the vice chair is Joyce Nadeau, the secretary was gonna be Janet Boker. She broke her hand, and so now Dennis Massey, one of the alternates, is stepping up to be the secretary for the hearing committee. We have alternates Sonia, and I don't have her last name, Andy Troyer, and Debbie Delcamp. And then if we could have Lynn Murray, the chair, come up and read the minutes from the hearing committee.
Just skim over them and read the page.
You're fine. Yep, 5 points, yeah.
Hi, Lynn Murray, block 15, lot 9. Hearing committee chairperson. Meeting was brought to order by Andy, thank you, and Janet Troyer, thank you for your volunteer duties. Wish you the best in your medical challenge. Purpose of the meeting that we had was to select members for the hearing committee. Various aspects of how the committee operates and the expectations of committee members and the duties of the hearing committee were discussed. So then, I was nominated, and Joyce Nadeau, and several other people, and so we have a new hearing committee made up of five members of our new community, or our new hearing committee here in the community. And I'm stumbling pretty bad because I'm just rambling over this. There were no more items for discussion, but I'd just like to say if you have anything that's a complaint or an issue, don't be afraid to bring it up, okay? Thanks. Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion that we appoint the new hearing committee.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. All right, we'll move on to appoint the social committee members. Do we have a list of that?
We had to appoint the new social committee, or we had to hold a gathering to see how many people we could get step forward for the social committee. So we did that on Friday at 9 a.m. And this is what we've come up with. And if I could have those that are in attendance come up here. I know that a few of them are sick this week, so they won't all be here. But, or stand up so they know who you are. The chair and co-chair are Karen Murray and Alice Taxman. Treasurer will be Dee Dee Mattingly. Secretary is Eileen Geddert, which she is sick. And an alternate, we have an alternate, Dennis Massey. And the board of directors liaison and member at large will be Joyce Weaver. These are all volunteer positions, and we do appreciate all of the work that the former social activities committee did. We've also got other volunteers that are they're on the social committee, but they're like under like a second tier. We have Ian and Terry Rummels who are going to be doing the acorn for us. Our events coordinator is going to be Pam Tucker. In charge of our library is Miss Pat Talma. She's not busy. She's been doing it for a while, we appreciate her. But anytime that you have a need or you want to volunteer for something, these people work hard to put together stuff and they can't do it all on their own. So anytime you want to volunteer, there's always a volunteer sign-up sheet on the bulletin board, so please sign up for that. guess we need a motion. And because I'm not on that committee, I can make a motion to appoint these new people to the social activities committee. So I make a motion for that.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
You're hired.
Checks in the mail.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the violation list that we have from our park manager, LW. Unfortunately, we have to read through each one and vote on each one, whether to send it to the hearing committee or not. The first number on each, have to say it. Okay, first one is, block 18, lot 33, 6689 Southeast 51st Street. The owner is Phyllis Otis. The complaint is guests of hers stole a golf cart and stole batteries and equipment out of boats in the storage area. I move to approve, we send this to the hearing committee. All in favor? Or we need a second?
We have to put a fine on it.
Okay, we have to put a fine on
25
it.
to
Okay,
Every,
100. To 100.
so, the first one's 25.
Or 200. Anywhere from there.
It is 25.
I recommend we start with a $25 fine.
What do you think?
What do you guys think? I mean,
500.
higher, 50,
I think it should be higher.
100.
$100?
Problem,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
What about 50 on the first, and then if it continues, then you can go to 100? Or you want to go right to 100? Let's see, you want to go right to 100?
Silly.
Boom.
This,
Okay, we'll take it to a vote. We'll start with the high end. Who votes to start with $100? Raise your hand. Okay, who votes to go to 75? I guess we don't need to go any lower. $100 it is.
Okay.
May I have a question?
I have an answer.
Sally's here.
Is this for the hearing committee? They have to, the person who's being charged with a violation has to prove that they're innocent?
The person that's charged with the violation has the opportunity to present their facts, findings, pictures, etc., to the hearing committee when the hearing committee meets to consider the findings from the board.
Thank you.
they will be sent a certified letter giving them a date and time to go in front of the hearing committee to plead their case. And at that time, the hearing committee will make a decision to vote on whether to uphold what the board has decided or to reduce it or not to fine them at all. That's how that works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I move
Hey,
for,
Virginia.
go ahead.
what is the actual violation of the rule that you're charging them with?
On this particular one.
It should have been that they've been a nuisance for a year and a half. We've had multiple problems and talked to the property owner about her visitors.
Okay, I know that in the past that we've had the park, when I say we, the park has had multiple problems with Ms. Otis's family in the past. So it's just kind of a culmination of things. I think this is kind of the
I'm not against charging them with something, I just wondered what it was. I know the history of the problems, at least as much as people knew. So I'm not against fining them, I just wondered what the charge was as far as.
well, the charge would be that they stole a golf cart and batteries and equipment out of the boats in the storage area. would be the charge.
But it was her guest, it wasn't her.
Correct, but as the owner, she's responsible for her
Okay.
guests.
That answers the question.
You know, it came to a confrontation.
We have had several incidents in the last year and a half with her guests, and LW has went to talk to her. We have videos. It should have had a lot more on here. I agree with you, Virginia, explaining exactly what we were finding them for. But there's been multiple issues with these same visitors in this park.
Oh, I know, and
Okay.
I want it to be able to stick.
Yes,
That's why
and
I wanna make sure that it's something.
When the letter is typed up, it's going to mention, it needs to mention all of the violations and everything that's been going on all along with them for the last year and a half.
And the last confrontation, which was about a week and a half ago, basically, LW was confronted, and if you ask me, I believe he was assaulted.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, it's on video too, so.
Yeah, no, I'm not against anything that, I just wanna make sure
no.
it sticks, so.
Gotcha, understand, totally understand. Okay, this nice lady with her hand up.
I just have a question, who prepares and delivers the letter?
The park manager will prepare the letter, it will be sent certified. So there's,
Thank you. And then part two, is there a limitation of when the fee is due and what are the consequences for additional fees if not paid in a timely manner?
After they appear in front of the hearing committee and they're excused, the hearing committee will take a vote. After that time, the secretary and chair will prepare a letter that will be sent to them certified that they have 10 days upon receipt of the letter to come into the office and pay the fine that was imposed.
Thank you.
I know there was another hand raised. Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
I have a question. What happened to the golf cart and the batteries?
The golf cart was returned.
The golf cart was returned to the owner. I don't know what the status of the batteries.
They were returned. Oh, okay.
They were returned.
Yes,
The police,
yeah, they were.
They were in the closet.
No, out in, they were in a outside, it's not a shed, but it's out by your house. It's like you open the door on the house. You go into the little shed.
Okay, so storage.
Property.
Storage area.
That I heard.
Next.
All right, we don't want to run around with rumors. Okay, any other questions? Yes, sir, go ahead.
One question, can these individuals be banned from the park permanently?
We are working with our law firm to tighten up the rules of people being in the park. Once we have that nailed down, it will be brought to a vote of the ownership for approval or disapproval. I just got that information actually yesterday. I haven't had a chance to review it. It's actually an old change that was presented a number of years ago, so we're probably gonna update it and then present it to the owners for their approval or disapproval.
Is that on the yearly thing, or is that in the near future?
It will be done by the end of the year. I'll put it that way. I would like to see it done before people go home for the season. I just don't know if the wheels are gonna spin that fast. Sometimes the wheels spin very fast, but they don't go very far, you know what I'm saying? But yes, that is pretty high on my radar to make some changes. As are a lot of these rules that, you know, we look at to update. We're not looking to change the rules per se, and make anything necessarily more restrictive. But if you look through the rules and regulations and you look through a lot of the paperwork from the park, it's very outdated, it's very old, it's from the beginning. And, you know, things change, things evolve, and we try very hard to make sure that we're in concert with the county, or the state. Because we can make a rule all day long, but if the county or the state overrides our rule or makes it more restrictive, we have to go by their rule. So a lot of these little, like, there's one that we're gonna talk about here in a little while, that we're gonna change and we're gonna present to you all for a vote. And, you know, that'll just make it easier for residents to make changes to their property. But you have to keep in mind that there are a lot of other rules that restrict you from things, you know. For instance, this one is they want to add a screened room under their carport. And, you know, we try very hard to follow the rules. We try very hard to be fair. I don't find that this board has favorites. We treat everybody the same. So, you know, there's a lot of things that happened under old management that were way out of the rules. And unfortunately, we can't change that. It's something we live with. We have to live with it. I drive around this park a lot, and I see things that just make me scream. And I can't do anything about it because it was granted by an old board or park manager, and we can't change that. So we're trying very hard to make it fair for everybody, and we take things very seriously. When somebody presents something to us for approval or to think about, we take it very seriously. It takes us a little bit of time to think because we want to check the rules. We want to make sure we're making the right decision. We want to make sure that we're not letting Joe, put an antenna on his house, but then we tell George that he can't put an antenna on his house because it's not, we have to do the right thing by the park. And a lot of these things aren't liked by a lot of people. And unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. I guess I'm going off track. I'm sorry to ramble. So we'll go back to this list now. Anybody else have any questions?
Next.
Regress a little bit back to the theft. Was that reported to the police and you have the evidence? Was anybody arrested?
Yes, sir. They actually, I saw an article that they arrested a couple of people for theft of golf carts in the park. I don't know what the status of that is yet. I guess these things that were stolen were recovered, and I'm gonna assume that they were given back to the owners. I know one fella, his golf cart was stolen and they found it over on 15A and he has it back now. So, yes, everything that's reported as stolen in the park, the sheriff's department comes in and they do a full report on it. All right, next one on the agenda is Block 3, Lot 18, 6464 Southeast 54th Lane, is with Miss Joyce Reich. Unsightly weeds, drainage pipe not buried, fabric put down without permission between her and her neighbors. This is another one of these ongoing problems. And LW has tried to work with her, LW has tried to offer her assistance from the maintenance guys to help her get her property in order. I had a conversation with her neighbor, and she is very frustrated with the whole situation because at times she can't even walk down the side of her house on her own property because there's piles of dirt or mulch or what have you. That's preventing her from walking on the side of her property. So I know this one's going for a long time, so I think this one definitely needs to be on $100. Everybody agree?
I second that.
Okay, I guess I move to send this one to the hearing committee for a $100 fine. All in favor?
Aye.
Next one, Block 2, Lot 15, 6415 Southeast 51st Lane, Yuri, Slava, and John Naroditsky. Unsightly mess on the carport. Windows on the west side have a patchwork of old blinds that are unsightly, weeds around the unit. Again, this is another thorn in the side of the park manager. He's been working with them. They have gotten better. They have been slowly cleaning up their stuff. I did drive by there not too long ago and I even thought it looked a lot better. I think because they have been trying to make progress, I think we should probably just do $50 on this one. Anybody have any disagreement?
Should it be dropped to 25?
That,
Or has it already been there?
Really, you given,
if they're trying, if they're trying to clean it up and they're working on it,
Okay.
maybe we should table it and bring it back at a later date, see if they
30 days
continue
and see where it's at.
That's,
to clean it up, you know, give them a certain amount of time and tell them, you know, you skipped it off, you missed it this time. If it's not cleaned up by the next board meeting, then we'll revisit it.
yeah, because you can't charge somebody 100 and somebody else 50. That's not gonna work.
Well,
Well, you can,
it depends on the situation.
you can. Or you can take their privileges away from the pool or anything, yes, you can, yeah. You can make a decision, yeah.
I'm only saying that because
Okay.
everybody was in agreement for
All right, Miss Nice Lady in the back with a hand raised.
Thank you.
Amen.
Just checking to see, has this person that we're now discussing also been legally notified with a certified letter?
No,
They don't have to be sent a certified letter until after we impose a fine on them. We have all been aware through email and text, all of us on the board, of ongoing problems that LW's been trying to work with them, people, for 6 months, a year and a half, offered our help. I mean, he's done everything, but he continually gets complaints because it's so bad.
Thank you.
they don't get a certified letter notifying them of the violation. They just get a letter from the park manager. And they have 5 days to correct the problem. And LW is sometimes he's a little too nice, but, you know, we want to work with people. And if you get a letter and you say, let's just, for instance, your house has mold on it and it needs to be pressure washed. Then if you say to LW, well, I called the guy who's gonna come pressure wash my house, but he can't come for 2 weeks. Then, okay, 2 weeks, you know, we give you the 2 weeks to get your house pressure washed. So we do work with people. It's not like, okay, on the 6th day, you know, we're referring you to the hearing committee. I don't think we're that strict. We try to make it fair for everybody. We try to give people time, especially in the summertime, because the people that aren't here, you know, we can't send you a letter and say your house is moldy and needs to be pressure washed when you're living in Minnesota at the time. You know, we gotta give you a little bit of leeway here to have it taken care of. The thing is that we also have some great guys in this park who will work on a Saturday and pressure wash your house for a pretty decent price. So, you know, that is a possibility too. But yeah, we don't, Miss Sally's stalking me on the side, yes, Miss Sally.
And that's why we sent the letter out this summer that Don did, notifying you to make sure that you have someone already set up to take care of your property when you're gone, to pull your weeds, to power wash if it needs it. So, you know, we sent that letter out so that if things get bad in the park, we can automatically vote on a fine because we sent the letter to everybody. It was sent out in big mail out.
I'd like to speak about Slava's house. Slava is Russian, as you may or may not know. And English is her second language. I have spoken with her about this issue of her blinds, because if you are in the parking lot of the marina, you can look right at her house and it's brown and white and brown and white. And those are the inside blinds. I think that is an issue that they feel, and I'll tell you, they feel that they have a sovereign right because they own the land. And the park has no right to tell them what to do. And I said to her, Slava, you can't live like a pig in this park and expect people to allow it, just so you know. And I was very, I know you find this surprising, but I was very blunt with her. But I disagree with the $50 fine. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. They understand straight. And $100 fine is what you should charge, because $100 will help them buy a decent blind that will be all one color, that'll go over that whole window, if they think about it. And if that's what it takes, I think we need to shake them up. And she's a friend of mine, love her dearly. Thank you. Oh, regarding the weeds and stuff that come up when we're not here, because when the wind blows, so do we. We have paid park employees to do that for us. We have come down here and it's not been done. Now, you say you get people to do it, all right, that's great. I think that's a great idea. I don't mind paying to have that stuff done. But I'm telling you, it happens all the time. They'll leave it go until they know the people are coming down, and these park employees that you say will work, and they do, they wait till the last minute, and then by God, they'll do it. So if the letter that goes out and says, take care of your building, take care of your land, is fine. But you need to realize that we only have so much control. We're only gone from April until October. And that's the prime growing season. I wish I had a marijuana plant. Anyway, that's what I'm saying, is that you can ask us to get this done, but we can't make the people go out and do it. Thank you.
Can I say to that, as the maintenance foreman, if you all hire one of our guys to take care of your property, and you feel that that is happening, please let me know. I communicate very well with these guys, and they know me very well now after 1 year. I would not tolerate that. So if you let me know that your property is being taken care of by, not just use Francisco for instance, and you feel that he's not communicated well, communicate with me, I'll communicate with him, make sure the job's done.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Also, I don't know, I might be talking out of turn here, but I know that we just, sent, LW, Chris, and another one of our employees to a class for a certification for them to be able to legally spray for weeds.
Great.
And I know LW was trying to work out a plan. I haven't seen the plan yet. I don't know if it's going to come to action or not, but he did mention that with this certification of these 3 people, that maybe we can set up a low-cost alternative for the owners that are not here in the summertime to have their weeds sprayed by the park employees. And I think sometimes there's a little confusion with the whole weed thing. If you have a improved area on your property that was put in by, whether it was you or an improved or a prior owner or whatever the case may be, flower beds, pavers, the rocks, all that kind of stuff, the park employees are not responsible to maintain those areas. They're responsible to cut the grass and to edge. So those are the areas that we're talking about. So if you have a flower bed around your palm tree, you're responsible for that flower bed around your palm tree. And that's where everything starts looking pretty nasty in the summertime. Because like Sally said, it doesn't take very long for you to have 6-foot weeds in your flower bed. So probably more to come on the LW thing with the spraying. So hopefully, we're not trying to take away from anybody trying to make a couple extra bucks on the side. But yes, Sally, that is a very valid concern that you guys go north, you pay somebody, say $200 to maintain your weed all gone, and then you come back and you're really kind of wondering, okay,
So what are we gonna do?
do you want to go higher with them, or what do you want to do? You want to table it to the next time, or I understand Sally's concern.
And it could be that, we have told them and told
Been there
them
several times.
and told them.
Yeah.
And maybe that is what it takes to.
Hitting them in the pocketbook may be the only way they understand.
What do you guys think?
What do you guys think?
Well, have they been improving it since they've been spoke to?
I have seen some improvement, although you said he has seen some improvement.
But he thinks the weeds are flowers, just so you know. I was standing out here when he told LW that.
I know
those
some
weren't
Florida
those were
weeds.
Flowers.
He has a lot of big plants.
Well, I do want to say, being that I deal with the account, they have had a small balance on their account that they just refuse to pay. I tell them that you owe this amount still, and they will blatantly write out a check for just a little bit less every time and say, "Oh, I know," and walk out. So I don't know if hitting them in the pocketbook is going to work. I don't know if they're just going to do like they do their account, say, "Yeah, I know," and keep going. So if it was me, I would fine them. But I don't know if you're going to get the money anyway. So.
What is the alternative if a fine is assessed and duly processed? What is their option to, when they don't pay?
Put a lien on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a fine levied against you by this far and you continue not to pay it, we have the option of putting a lien on your home.
And they're responsible for clearing that in all aspects.
Yes, sir.
Can't sell unless it's.
They can't sell it unless that lien's taken care
Oh, question in the back, yes, sir.
It's been a long time since I read the bylaws, but as I remember, 15 on block 6, lot 1. The board and the park has in the bylaws, if something's wrong and the park can do it and maintenance can do it, you can do the work and send a bill.
That is correct. We still have that on the
I
books.
mean, so why don't you do that?
Well, because they
Well,
haven't
because
paid
if
their
it's
dues.
something that's inside of the house, if it's inside of the house, we can't do that. No, I understand.
I think that's one of the things that he's was talking about a minute ago where, we had him and Chris and I believe Adam went to a class to be certified to spray weeds. That way, like when people are gone, hey, LW can call and say, "Hey, your weeds are getting out of hand. Do you want us to spray?" And we'll send you a bill. We could do that. But now we're not just gonna walk up on somebody's property and spray their weeds, without their.
We're not in the business of
Okay.
taking care of the property.
Yes,
I
sir.
can probably add to that a little bit for you. We did go take the first half of the being licensed in the state of Florida to spray Roundup. It's called a Roundup license inside certain circles. What we learned when we got to the class was that the state of Florida had moved this class from, say, a read the book and take a multiple choice question to now it's a college course. You gotta buy about $100 worth of books and study, and it's a $150 test. If you do not pass the test, you lose $150. So our consensus was to take the first half, which you have to have. We've done that. Now we're gonna buy the books and do some extensive studying. And we were just told by the state, the guys were teaching, that you will not pass this test in a 6-hour course. So we opted to come back, or I opted to order the books. I will study for it, get my Roundup license. And also what we found is it's not a permanent license, so it's something you have to continue to come back. Because you're going to get $50 per year in license. So we are working on that, but I don't think that's gonna happen in weeks. It's like license.
Thank you, Chris.
So we're gonna do 100?
All right, is everybody comfortable with $100? I'm sorry, I see a hand in the back. Go ahead.
I just have a question, just being in here his first year
we were kind of surprised when we came down here how high the weeds were on the side. Nobody contacted us or anything, but I was thinking this year, I wasn't thinking of hiring anybody. I was just thinking, it's not a large area going right along it's just like a foot wide. If we could put some black tarp down there and put some rocks to hold it down so they won't grow. Cause I know that Roundup, you gotta do that like every 2 weeks or something.
Just gotta do a site modification if she can. She just gotta
You
fill out a site
you just
modification
need to
form.
go up and get a site modification form, fill it out, and get it approved by LW. And he can let you know what you can and can't do there. Yeah.
I don't have a license, but if I'm here in the summertime, you call me, I'll go spray your stuff for free. My charge used to be a 6-pack a year, but I haven't had a drink in like 79 days, so. I think I can do that for a small fee. I don't need a license. Okay, so $100 then we'll go with for Slava and John. All right, I move that we send this to the hearing committee. All in favor? All in favor? All right. Next one is block 23, lot 19, 6495 Southeast 52nd Street, Donald and Virginia Robbins, no skirting around their home. The rule states that if you have a fifth wheel or a park model or even a permanent RV on your lot for more than 7 months, it needs to be skirted. So there's actually quite a few of the strapped down as well too, but this one just has no skirting, so. I say $25. Everybody give me $25?
Yep.
All right, I move that we push this one to the hearing committee.
I second that.
That also applies to renters, right?
That applies to renters as well as the owner,
If they're here more than 7 months.
but that falls on
He's
the
gonna be
owner.
there a year.
Okay.
Do they leave it there full time?
They'll be there a year.
Then it needs to go to the owner who's responsible for making sure that they skirt it. Okay, do I have an approval to send this to the hearing committee? We have a second. All in
What's that
favor?
block and lot again, please? Block and lot of that unit?
2319.
Thank you.
Wow.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one is block 11, lot 01, 6601 Southeast 55th Street, Ellen, Patrick and Helen Wilson. Again, no skirting.
Her card's up in the office.
25 again.
I will say that.
Jody
that
Carter,
lot
she's up,
is
she
the
works for Big
estimate
O
to have that done as we speak.
Real Estate.
Oh,
That woman never called you.
Okay, we're getting an estimate, so we want to table this one? If they're getting an estimate then, okay.
Thank you, Chris.
For nothing,
Thank you, Chris.
yeah.
All right, we're all in favor,
I just figured.
or I guess I'll,
You know, I was worth a shot.
motion to table that.
It's 2 days in a row.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next one is block 11, lot 04, 6633 Southeast 55th Street.
Yeah.
Vasilius Lewis. Trailer is skewed on the lot, not tied down, and no skirting.
One thing, it's got.
There's a young fellow that works for them. He's pretty good.
Skewed, not
His
tied
name is
down,
Jose
skirting.
Fernandez.
I recommend $50.
I've got his card. I can give you his card.
Yes, everyone has gotten a letter from LW that they need to take care of these problems. These problems don't come to us until that letter gets sent out
Okay,
and basically gets ignored.
I'm at the meeting.
All right, I motion $50 and we send it to the hearing committee.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one is block 05, lot 04, 6531 Southeast 55th Street. Castegner, George and Faith, no skirting. $25. I motion to send this to the hearing committee.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Z block 05, lot 24, 6550 Southeast 54th Lane. Sarah Hatfield, no skirting. $25. And I motion you send this one to the hearing committee.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Block 07, lot 09, 5646 Southeast 67th Avenue. McAlney, Patricia, and Robert, no skirting. Again, $25. I motion we send this to the hearing committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Block 02, lot 13, 6445 Southeast 51st Lane, Alan and Colleen Stocker, no skirting. Window has plastic and duct tape on it, presumably to stop a leak.
$50.
$50. I motion we send this one to the hearing committee.
50. Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
If somebody disagrees, please type up. Next is block 24, lot 30, 6475 Southeast 51st Lane. Brenda Joyce Brostek, no skirting. $25. I motion to send this to the hearing committee.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Get to the end, folks. Block 039, lot 19, 6472 Southeast 55th Lane. Richard and Mary Dubin. Cargo trailer on the lot, washer dryer combo installed on the porch. Out on the porch, yes. We saw pictures.
Yeah.
I recommend $50 and move to send this one to the hearing committee.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Block 01, lot 14, 6430 Southeast 56th Lane, Dorothy Wilson property. Car with expired tags.
Do we know why she has expired tags?
Because she's
not
Well,
there.
Miss
She passed.
Miss Wilson passed.
Sorry,
It's
it's
the
my
sister,
property.
it's the property.
What was that again? Can you repeat that?
Block 01, lot 14, 6430 Southeast 56th Lane, Dorothy Wilson property. It's property Miss Wilson owned. She has passed.
Several years ago, she passed.
Well, there's a
Passed
car
this year.
with expired tags. I think she just passed.
She passed several years ago.
Right.
This has not been looked into, and I'm gonna speak to it.
Bring it,
Her
Sally,
place
bring it.
is so.
Those of you who remember Dorothy and Milton, that was her son, he was handicapped, special needs. When Milton had got taken and put in a group home, and Dorothy went downhill quickly and she committed suicide. So she's been dead 3 years. That house is a mess. And I can guarantee you, if you went into that house, there's mildew all over it, and it's not gonna be a safe, salvageable house. Somebody I know contacted the name that says for sale by owner and offered them a fair price for the lot. Because they knew that they were gonna have to take that trailer and that house down because it's junk. So whatever you're gonna bill whoever owns that, you call it the Dorothy something property. I don't know if you have a name to it. Is it a trust or something that you have it to?
Not aware of.
Estate.
It's the estate. You need to make it higher. It's this $50 and $25. Get their attention. And $25 is chump change. I think 100 is chump change, but that's as most you can give. Get their attention. The guy refused the offer. He says he's looking for $50,000 for that house. Come on. So get their attention. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Sally.
So the whole house is this right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So is the question here,
is the fine being imposed because they have a car that the tags are expired?
Yes.
Yes.
That's against our bylaws.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Present.
You, every vehicle parked in your carport has to have current tags. Current, they have to be current, and they have to have a tag on them. They cannot be parked under your carport without a tag.
The present owner of the property, is he responsible or he, she, whatever?
Yes,
Responsible?
it's an
It's
estate, because
responsible.
like Sally said, Dorothy Wilson passed away a number of years ago. So it is in the estate.
Are they paying the maintenance?
I was under the
No,
impression,
I do have a question because I ran
I was
across
under the impression
copies.
it was auctioned off.
I ran across copies of IDs with Kathy wrote on there the Dorothy Wilson. I guess they purchased it or were going to purchase it. I
Right.
don't know any more of that, and I asked her about that, and she kind of gave me that all she said was it was supposed to be they're supposed to be buying her property. I don't know if it ever went through or what, but I know that this has been trying to get the dues paid on this property has been ongoing ever since the family had taken over. Like they got it all caught up when she had passed because we had been in contact with our lawyer, and then it just kept getting further and further and behind, and now I guess I don't know what's going on. I just know that I've seen copies of IDs up in the office, and that needs to be addressed.
Is LW saying?
LW says that it was sold at foreclosure and that no official PW, I don't know what that means, has come to the park.
Yes, Miss Pat.
Okay, so then I guess they got copies of the IDs and they haven't come in and completed any other paperwork. So I don't know if.
Yeah, it was auctioned off on the courthouse steps from what I understand.
Okay, so then what happened was somehow we managed to get the copy of the IDs, but they didn't complete the paperwork. And Kathy had wrote some stuff on the copy in regards, but they haven't come in and completed anything else.
And how long's that been?
I think I seen the paperwork or the copy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I've said something twice to her about it to see if we can figure out what's going on. We still have it up there, so I would say table it until we can figure out who's the owner and who are we finding.
Yes, Miss
Pat,
Pat.
go ahead.
I just wondered how high of a fine can you put on something like that?
$100.
That's your limit?
That's the limit imposed by the state of Florida. We can't go any higher than $100, but we can make it recurring. I mean, we can fine them $100, and for every 30 days that it doesn't get fixed, it could be another 100, up to 500. Am I right?
Correct, and then you can also take away their capability of using all their privileges of using anything in the park if they continue to be a nuisance and not follow the rules and guidelines.
Sure.
Although I don't think there's any sheriff gonna be watching for whether they're at the pool or not, so,
Cheryl Farrell has commented that it was pulled from auction and the family paid up all the taxes, and so they now own it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And since they took over, nothing's been paid, but I don't know what those IDs are for. Apparently, they're two gentlemen IDs. I don't know who.
Do they know they need to get the car off the lot and get tags? I mean.
So you just need to table it until you.
Yeah,
find out.
right. We're gonna table it because LW needs to, if he's talked to them, he needs to give us an answer.
Okay, I motion we table this one for further research.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one is block 03, lot 21, 6502, Southeast 55th Lane. Joseph C. Bordelon. Sandra Deck is the contact ranger with no tags or decal park under the carport.
We don't know whose ranger it is. Do we know it's been a long time?
Yeah, he's been a while. Yeah, he went and talked to him and sent us pictures and everything.
You know the owner of the property, but not the owner of the vehicle.
We don't know if it's his or not. There's no tag on it, so you can't.
I know
run a check.
that at one point she was sent a violation because of meeting her house pressure washed. And I guess she was getting her son-in-law, maybe it is what I believe that's what she said, her son-in-law, to come out and fix the deck. And it could be his. I know it has to be something to do with her because she comes over once in a while. She lives on the coast. I think she said West Palm.
She's been contacted a number of
And
times.
she knows about it because she has been contacted, and she has said something to me about that, the pressure washing, so in the deck. So I know that she's getting her mail and she is getting contacted. Yeah.
Would you do more than 25 on this? 50?
Yeah, I recommend 50, and we send it to the hearing.
Great. There's a water.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that completes our violation list.
What did we do that before?
Lynn's gonna be busy.
Thank you all for your
Thank you too much.
Thank you all for your input, greatly appreciate it. Ms. Joel, go ahead.
Yeah, I dawned on me, when you're saying skirting, you should say tied down and skirting.
Well, they might be tied down,
It
not
has to
skirted.
be tied down and skirted.
Yes, of
If
course.
you've ever been here in a hurricane, you'll know why.
Yes.
That's why we got that rule.
Upside down and everything else.
He wrote the ones up that he did put tie down on some, so the other ones he just said skirting, so there must have been tied down, but no skirting. A lot of people don't want to skirt those fifth wheels down, but, or put skirting around them because of the cost, I guess, but when they leave them there permanently, they have to, over 7 months.
Go ahead, Dennis.
I understand that, at the fifth wheel, pertaining to the skirting, if it's, moved, within a 7-month time period, the skirting is not required.
Right, correct.
Okay.
Right.
Well, the lady across the street from you, Dawn, they move it every 7 months. Her son comes in with that big white.
Okay.
I haven't seen
Well,
it.
it hasn't moved in over a year and a half
No,
now.
it
I
hasn't.
see what you told me that.
Okay.
I know.
And I seen a semi in here this weekend, and that's another thing, other than delivery, we're not allowed to have semis in this park.
No semi.
Okay, we're gonna move on and have our wonderful treasurer, Ms. Paul, give us the lowdown on the configuration of the clubhouse.
Chris, okay, I'm on, thank you. One of a lot of you got a survey, when we sent out surveys, last fall. One of the things that they talk about is some, like the gym needs this and the library needs stuff. Well, we came in and we kind of looked at the way these 3 rooms, well, really it's 4, but the gym is really 2 rooms in itself, but are configured. And what we've got over here is we have the supply room for the kitchen, for the social activities committee. It's all the supplies, their paper goods, their coffee, it's all locked up in cabinets in this room over here. The room over here where the library is at, we all know that's the library. It also has the freezers for the social activities committee. And then over on that end are the 2 rooms that house the exercise equipment, which is kind of crowded in there. So we thought about what can we do to make it a little more efficient and be a little better for everyone. Now, this is not something that we're making a decision on. This is something we're gonna ask you to vote for or vote on if you think it's a good idea. But what we thought we would do is rotate everything that way. If we move the library into where the gym is, and I've talked to Miss Talma, she thinks that's a great idea. move the gym equipment over here to where the supply room is for the social activities committee. And then move the social activities, their supplies into where the library is. Then you don't have to walk all the way around that counter to go get a stack of paper plates or salt and pepper. You can just walk into that room. Also, that room can be locked to where you don't have to have all those rickety cabinets that sometimes you have to work 15 minutes to get the key to work in the lock. Everything can just be put on shelves in there and the doors can be locked. But everything would be in that room pertaining to the supplies for our events and our dinners and our lunches and so forth. So what we would be doing basically is just rotating everything like that. The gym would be over here. And one thing we would need to do is if anybody knows, I don't ever go in there. Maybe I should. I don't know that I would have time. But I know a lot of people use that exercise equipment. But what we need to know is what exercise equipment in there is usable. What is needed if some of that is not usable, if anybody knows stuff like that, if you would contact us later. We would like to thin it out a little bit because in that room in there, even though it's 2 rooms, there's not a whole lot of room to work out. There's not a whole lot of room to use that equipment. So we thought if we moved it over here, it's a little more open, they would be able to use it. Now, granted, that's where the cards are played, is in the library and the supply room. And that's why there's locks on those rickety cabinets. What the library will still have a card table. And we can put another card table up here on the stage and we have a divider that can be used for, the stage is not used for much except this. So, we've got options there.
They wouldn't be able to play cards during bingo up here on stage around us.
They've got the library. There's only one set of people that
There's
play
also a card
cards.
room out in the pool room.
There is also a card table in the billiard hall.
Okay.
And the billiard hall is not, they were playing last night out there, I think, while bingo was going on.
But there is room for
But
both
there-
the pool players and the card players.
Yes, there's plenty of room out there and, we'll make whatever works, but I think that, my opinion, it needs to be shoveled. So I'm making a motion that we shovel one door down for each of those rooms back there. That's my motion. And second, okay, now what do y'all think?
Yes.
I'll make a comment on your exercise room. If it is moved over there, that is nearer the showering facility.
Agreed.
Which is a benefit to those that would want to exercise. Or I would
Yes.
consider it a benefit.
Yes.
Agreed.
Joel?
2/3 of us members, the membership have to agree to do that.
No, ma'am.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, ma'am. Okay, Joel, I know you throw that up to me quite a bit, and I just want to let you know that it takes a majority of those in attendance to change something as small as that. Now, outside, if we want to tear this building down and put up a new one, yes, that would take 66 and 2/3 vote. But this kind of thing right here, where we're not really changing anything except moving stuff around, it does not take 66 and 2/3 vote. Thank you. Yes.
I know that, during the nice weather on Thursdays at 2:30, Bible study, we do outside. When the weather turns cold and bad, that was what we designated as our place, but, if you come up with another place.
In that room? Well, the library would probably be, Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Or you could put that divider up and come up here.
You know,
I mean,
if there's
you know.
something going on down here.
I don't know what goes on in here.
The ladies have theirs too, same time.
Same time. Okay, so the ladies are doing theirs at the same time. Okay. All right.
Oh.
Or the pool rooms at 1-3-10.
Yeah, good idea.
Collections away, you 3.
Well, we can have it at your house, it's big enough.
Well, yeah. Got lots of Bibles.
Or even, well, if it's too cold, no pool room, but I thought if it's inclement weather though, it's just raining or something, you could do it out there.
34142. Dash 2262. That was changed 13th December.
Okay.
And if you
Uh,
put $1,000.
How does everybody feel about doing the old shuffle of the room? All in favor, raise your hands. Right, I guess that's, shuffle.
Thank you.
Who's opposed? All opposed? Nobody. Okay.
Lock that down,
Well, based on the approval from the people, I move that we approve the shuffling of the gym, storage room, and library.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. To get my book out.
Okay, so we're on the building guidelines now.
Gotta get back to work.
Don,
Yeah.
I'm gonna open up all your mics, I need to make a phone call, I heard the water breaking apart.
All right, well-
Open up all your mics, you're all gonna get hot.
All hot.
You are all hot. I think we need to vote on that. Are they all hot? Yeah, are they?
Okay.
Spicy.
There was
The rule that will bring forth the change, or the guideline, I should say.
Don,
Yes, sir.
there's a comment from Cheryl Preble.
All right.
She says that the ladies' Bible study would consider moving to the billiards room if it can hold 30.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
The comment was that the ladies' Bible study would consider moving into the pool room out back if it will hold up to 30 people.
There's not enough chairs out there.
See,
So basically, the problem is, Dennis, is you'll have your men's Bible study at the same time the women have their Bible study. So I don't know what the answer to that is.
What is your capacity usually?
Around 12 to 15.
So they
Okay,
can
so we put the men in the billiards room.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
If they're okay with that.
Then we'll go in the billiard room and the ladies can have the main clubhouse. Good?
And then, so is the social committee gonna put that on the schedule so people aren't in there playing pool if the men are having their Bible study? Okay.
Well, the fellas,
Guess they'll figure
they
it out.
started 1:00 building, so I don't know how long they play for. Are there any pool players here?
Usually a couple hours. Usually until
Couple
around,
hours?
yeah, about 3. Till about 3.
Until about 4 out there.
Okay.
3.
All right, so we'll have to-
plays till 3. 1 to 3.
Well, maybe we can get a couple to join too.
When is the Bible study?
We have it at 2:30 on Thursdays.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, obviously, we're underneath the canopy at the shuffleboard court. I mean, it'd have to be pretty nasty for us not to have it, for the most part.
Then you could just go run them out They're not gonna wanna stay, and if they do, you got more grief.
Hey Dennis, I think that's something we can, we can work on. I mean, Thursdays, we're basically, yeah, I'm good with the canopy. Well, I believe it's gonna get 25 degrees over Saturday night here. So we'll get this week's in.
After that, it's supposed to be on.
It won't be there soon.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna move on to the guidelines for the site modifications, construction, or addition. Number 3, currently reads, all permanent installations except carports must maintain a minimum of 12 feet between the construction and the edge of the concrete street, measured perpendicular to the street. Carports, sport posts shall be no closer to the street than 5 feet. Siding on the sides in front of the carport must be a minimum of 7 foot 6 inches up from the grade or impervious surface to the bottom edge of the siding. We checked with the county. The county's rule is 5 feet from the property line on all sides, front, back, side, etc. So we're bringing it to you to vote that we change this to say all permanent installations must maintain a minimum of 5 feet between the construction and the edge of the concrete street, measured perpendicular to the street. Carport sport posts shall be no closer to the street than 5 feet. The siding of the sides and front of the carport must be a minimum of 7 foot 6 inches up from the grade or impervious surface to the bottom edge of the siding. So basically, we're deleting the words except carport because it wouldn't apply anymore, and we're changing the 12 foot to 5 foot. Yes, Ms. Joel?
Do you realize that the association owns that first 5 feet of everybody's property?
And that's why it's 5 feet.
That's why it's the way it is because the association owns the first 5 feet.
Right, and the rule is going,
You've got to be on the property line. The property line is 5 feet from the road.
well, this is from the county,
Yeah.
and it says from the street on the county, in the county.
Joel, the Fair Housing Committee in the county has changed the guidelines. And we went to the county code enforcement yesterday and we pulled the guidelines for Ancient Oaks. And it's exactly how we're proposing to change the rule is for the 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, okay? We did go pull that. 2 of us board members went there and talked to them and pulled the information.
You realize there's going to be a parking problem on the slabs.
Well, everything still has to be approved by the board.
And that will be
So
their
you can't-
problem.
You can't just willy-nilly build yourself wherever you want on property. It still has to go through the board for approval. So you still need to go to the county and get permits as applicable. You still need to have an engineering report if it's applicable. You can't just do whatever you want. There are other rules that tell you what the procedure is. So if somebody comes to us or to LW and says, I want to enclose my whole carport, well, obviously, they need a place to park. So that's not going to get approved, because they have to give themselves enough room to park. So, I mean, unless they have another lot next to them or across the street that they're going to be able to park on, then it makes no sense for them to enclose their whole carport area.
You've also
And
got a
then,
problem as far as people, the neighbors seeing to get out of their driveway. Everybody's seeing to get out.
5 feet.
I mean, just a car beside mine, I have trouble seeing. You really have to be careful.
well, I have problems with people parking in the street and I can't get out of my lot because people park in the street. I have a problem with people parking on a one-way street and then expect me to drive on somebody else's grass when they're parked on somebody else's pavers because they want to have a bullshit session with somebody and they don't want to move. They want me to go around them. So we have a lot of problems. All we're trying to do is to bring this into code with the county because we're being asked for people to do stuff, and based on what we are, based on the rules that we were given from the prior boards, that's what we have to go by. So we're trying to bring some of these rules up to date. That's all we're trying to do. Anyway, Jesus has to give me strength.
Take a breath of air for a minute.
I'm good now. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Heisel.
I mistake the two all the time. I thought they were the same
In
person.
some properties in here, the setback from the street are 10 feet, some is 15 feet. Think you need to change the wording so that it's not necessarily 5 feet, but it makes sure that nothing encroaches on park property along some of these streets, because the setbacks are different. When you look at the plats, it's different setbacks in different streets and the park. So you might want to take a look or change your wording so that you take care of the park property, okay?
Okay. How about we do this? Based on some new information from Mr. Heisel, we will research this and we will readdress this at the next board meeting.
Okay.
I move that we, Miss Nice Lady in the back.
I just have one additional question. While you're doing your research, can you clarify if there are violations of the new rule now in the park, are those grandfathered in, or are they going to have to alter their property to come into compliance?
Anything that's been approved prior to any rule change is grandfathered in. We can't go back and make somebody redo something that another park manager or board approved them to do.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
One in the back.
That's actually one of the reasons that we're changing this is because we've got quite a few already that are closer than they're supposed to be. But they were approved by former boards and administration, so, these new people are asking, we actually got, one person gave us a list of 20. These are all in violation of that same rule I'm asking about. They were done before us, that's not on us, I'm sorry. We need to go, that's what we pledged to do, is try to do just as close to the rules as we can possibly get. We're trying to show by example to please follow the rules. It doesn't always work, but we're trying. Yes. In the back?
Yes, would somebody clarify what he was discussing as far as different rules for different setbacks so that things would not be uniform? Would it be dependent upon where your property is located? Not that it was 5 feet from the street, but had some other?
Well, if you've been around this park very much, which I assume most of you have ridden around the park quite a bit, but if you notice, some of the older sections have smaller lots. They also have smaller areas for those lots. Their property lines are not the same as some of the bigger lots in the later developed areas. There are some lots in here that are huge. And then you've got some lots that I'm surprised they even got a park model on. I mean, that's how tiny they are. So the setback, what he's talking about is the setback is from the street. What part of that is ancient oak property? But here's my thing on that, okay? We've had this rule, 10 foot back is what ours says. 10 foot, it has to be 10 foot from the street. 12, okay, 12 foot from the street. If Ancient Oaks owns 5 foot of that, then they're already in violation, everybody in here is in violation of it, because they aren't 12 foot from Ancient Oaks property. They're 7 feet. Okay, so setback or not, you, according to the county rule, you have to be 5 foot from the street. Okay, 5 foot, that's it.
That's not a county road.
Yeah, it is.
If any road that code enforcement is in charge of, yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir.
County streets?
They are maintained, all, the ordinances are maintained by code enforcement by the county of Okeechobee. Okeechobee County can come in here and make us tear up one if they think it's not right.
Do they maintain them?
They do not maintain them, we do.
They still come
But
in.
they still come in here and can tell us what to do. Yes, sir. We are not an island. You know, Ancient Oaks can do all the bylaws and rules and regulations and all this that they want to. But if the county or the state or the federal government says any different, then ours will not hold up in water. I mean, it'd be like water. Okay? We've got to follow all those rules. So we're trying to keep it to where, you know, it's simple for you. The county law says 5 foot, so why not make it 5 foot as long as it looks good and it enhances or improves their property
Bring it into conformity.
or brings it into conformity with the rest of the property. Yes, ma'am.
So what are we going to be researching then, if it's, with it?
Well, that would be my question. I don't think that we have to because, you know, like I said, according, you know, if Ancient Oaks owns 5 foot from the street to my house, you know, to my house, then I'm already in violation because mine's not but 7 foot from Ancient Oaks property. You know, I'm already in violation of that 12 foot rule. If you start doing that 12 foot plus the 5, you're looking at 17 feet, and that's half of my lot. Okay, so, you know, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. My opinion, anyway.
So are we going to table this, or are we going to vote on this?
I make a motion that we vote on this. That's just my motion.
I'll second that. Okay, who's saying go?
I say second.
Okay.
So, all in favor of changing it to 5 foot? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. All right, all opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure what it was about.
Okay, next up is the 7th request from the budget committee to work with the treasurer, LW County, and the president for the first draft of the should be 2022 budget.
Yes.
How do you vote?
So if anybody would like to help with the budget this year, you would like to be part of figuring out this next year's budget. If you would see me after the meeting, so I can get your information. We will be posting when those meetings are, and everyone is welcome to attend, whether you sign up today or not, you're still welcome to attend. They will be in here when I can find a time to put one in here. We've got so much going on, it's kind of hard to find that little slot of time, so. But if you see me afterwards, give me your contact information, I will call you when we're gonna have a meeting, okay? Thank you.
And there was a suggestion box.
Okay. All righty. I have 3 suggestions that have come to me. There was a question, is there an AED in the clubhouse? If so, it should be clearly marked and easy to find. Thanks. So I'm not sure that we have an AED in the clubhouse. I don't think we do.
That has been a suggestion for a long time.
I thought we were working on it.
Yeah. It's
I
been
don't-
mentioned a few times.
Yeah, so what's the status of it then?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's
Who
all,
who does it go to?
Goes to LW.
Okay, so I'm gonna forward this on to LW, so he can look at that as a nurse. I believe we should have an AED in here. That way, nobody is responsible for doing compressions or anything else. The AED goes on your chest, it's very easy, it has pictures to show you where it goes. And it looks at the heart rhythm that the patient has, the person has, and it'll say whether it needs to be shocked or not. There's only a couple things rhythms that the patient has that you get shocked with. But it does do a good job, it saves lives.
Maybe when we do get one, that we can have a little class about it, just to show
Oh.
people exactly where they should place the pieces and stuff like that, in case we do have a problem.
Yeah, I think the last time it was discussed, training was the issue.
Okay, well, we can see if we can get training. I've been uptown before when they've had festivals, and there's a lot of EMTs up there that will, wanna work with you and that kind of stuff. That might be a good way to have them come in and train us.
I'm sure the fire department would have
Oh,
no
I'm
problem
sure-
coming
I'm
by and
sure too.
training.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
LW says also a dechoker device.
Oh, I never heard of that,
Does
but
that
we'll
help with-
look into that.
Maybe a first aid kit would be awesome. I don't know how many times, somebody has cut themselves just by walking next to something that has a sharp edge and we're not having Band-Aids.
Well, the only problem I see with having a first aid kit is if somebody uses it, how are we gonna replace what they've used? And then,
Cheryl says that it was chosen not to be put in because of liability.
What, the AED?
yeah,
oh,
that's probably because of the training. I would say that this has been brought up a couple of times, but maybe a little reminder, because when we're up there, neither LW nor I even think about the possible accidents that could happen. So that's why I was like, I remember it being brought up a couple of times, but I'll try to remember too, to remind him to look into it too. Or maybe I can look into.
So she's got the suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Do that too.
yeah, and really liability, they put them in libraries, they put them in restaurants, they put them in
Hotels,
airports, hotels, they're all over the place. So I don't know that liability would be proper, we certainly can look into that since she's mentioned that.
I would definitely though suggest maybe getting the fire department somebody out here. I mean, even just to have a CPR class would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually charge, but we could do it. Anybody that wants to sign up could pay
Right.
to get certified. Fire department? I don't know if the fire department does, but.
I am not a nurse. What is an AED?
It's a defibrillator device
Okay.
that when somebody goes down on the floor and you don't know what's going on, you just put one, I think, on the front of the chest and then one on the side or the back. I think it's the back. Is it side? Yeah. It's been a while since I've used one, but then you put it on and then it looks at the heart rhythm that patient has, that person has. And it'll tell you whether it is a shockable rhythm or not.
Indiana has a no fault type rule
Yes.
about assistance.
Yes.
Is that also a rule in the state of Florida?
I'm sure it's a federal rule. It's the same when you give vaccines. If you cause harm, you can't get sued because.
Good Samaritan. So the Good Samaritan.
Yes,
rule.
thank you. Yes.
So the AED may be covered with the Good Samaritan rule.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Just need to find out about it.
Yeah, we'll check into that. Is that okay with everybody if we look into that?
Tammy's right, it's been brought up before.
Okay, all righty. The next one is, this one came, it's let's avoid a lawsuit for now. With this past year, 2 residents having fallen at the boat ramp because of old wooden handrails that lead down to the walkway to get to their boats. All wooden handrails need to be replaced with new treated wood and fastened with heavy-duty bolts, not nails or screws. One person was under doctor's care for 3 months because of a back injury from the fall. The other one had to be helped out of the water by LW and work with a work crew and hurt their leg in the fall. So that was another suggestion that came in. And that'll be something that'll be turned into LW.
Chris, can you speak on that? I thought you fixed that.
I refastened, the one that was broke off. They do need replaced. I have not talked to LW, I've talked to LW in a roundabout way. My suggestion is, we're gonna put wood up there, we're gonna have the same thing we got right now, just a few short months here. We have one, I cannot say this word, so you can laugh at me if you want, aluminum ramp that goes down. That is much sturdier, much safer. I would suggest that over the wooden ramps we have going down. What we have right now is the ramps are fixed, as the water levels go up and down, it changes the step to it. The one good ramp that we have, I don't know when it was put in, it adjusts itself to the water level. And it's a much sturdier, better approach to the floating dock.
Is that okay? I'll take it to LW then.
Well, we're looking, the marina makes its own money, so we're looking here, real quick
Yes.
here.
The marina is self-paid for. I mean, anybody that has a boat slip down there pays for the marina, correct?
Right, we can,
We have
We
a
can-
reserve.
yeah, I would say put this as something we need to review and we'll all get together and
Yes.
figure out where we gotta take it out of and what we have,
Right.
because it does.
We do have money put back for
That's what it's
just
for.
such things as that. That's what our reserves are for, is to replace things like that come up. So, we'll all look at that and see what we can come up with, as far as replacing that. Because we definitely don't want anybody falling in there like a 12-foot gator down there getting, he's a big boy.
There was discussion about your seating outdoors. And there was talk about using, only, as opposed to treated lumber, the composites.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that apply to the ramping as well?
Well, I think it's more the rails. It's
Well,
not what you're
rails, right.
standing
Well,
on.
rails could be composite.
We can look into it. It's just something that's gotta be researched, I think, because
Yeah.
everything costs, yeah. The cost of everything's so
The composite wood
out of-
that you're referring to is only a 5-quarter by 6 wide doors.
Okay.
So you would
Oh.
also have your 4x4s as a post, which would be a treated lumber. And with my experience with treated lumber in Florida, it does not have a very long life.
Right.
Okay, yeah, we'll look at that then, yes.
It's the aluminum planking ones. The aluminum planking ones are the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
aluminum planking.
Nice lady in the back.
Thank you. I would like to make a suggestion or make a motion that our board appoint a committee of 3, preferably people who are paying for marina lots, to come together and get bids for what is the best solution for the handrails and the footing, and
That's a good
have a
idea.
maintenance program in place, so the whole membership shouldn't have to address this. It actually should be in the maintenance program to keep our marina up to date.
Right.
Yes, that's how it is, but it's usually just sent through LW. He does a lot of work with getting quotes, and he knows a lot of these companies that do that.
But maybe he already has the background data that
He
we
may do
need
it.
them. So if you had a committee of people to review that and make a recommendation, so that we have a better background if we're to vote on it.
Right. Well, it being a repair issue, it doesn't actually have to be voted on unless it's over a certain amount, which and I'm not even sure about that right this second, as far as anything that has to be repaired for the safety of our residents, You know, that's not something we have to do a 66 and 2/3 vote on.
Unless we're gonna do a special assessment. Okay,
Right.
all right, so we'll go ahead and bring that up.
And take that back, and we'll let you guys know what goes with that. Okay, the last one I have is please turn the street light back on 66th Avenue, bathhouse, because it's dark back there until the park has a light to replace it. That'll go to LW.
All street lights need to be turned on. We got all these thefts in here, and then we've got lights turned off. That doesn't make sense.
Well, a lot of times those lights are turned off because somebody has requested it to be turned off because it's shining in their house. That is something that he's working on, trying to get all those lights replaced with the softer LED lights, that type of thing to keep that from happening. So a lot of times it's not because he just won't turn our lights off for us.
So we let one person.
No, I'm not saying it was one person either. But see, right now, it's just one person saying they all need to be turned back on. See, we don't know how many people he's had ask him about that light. Now, I know me, I don't want a street light right outside my house. I got enough bugs on my house.
When you have a break-in and something stolen, you'll probably change your mind.
Well, you know.
Porch light.
The light you're.
There was lights on when it got stolen.
Chris's.
Too many bugs.
The light you're referring to.
LW responding to any of this.
Move it across the street, that's gonna take, removing the light pole, we're gonna move it over by the bathhouse. We're gonna have to run electrical conduit, we have to have a lift to do that, so we're working on that.
Okay, working on it. We're trying to get the lighting on the streets better, but it does take a little bit of time, especially with the shortage of supplies and the shortage of this and that. And, I mean, we're running into it in every aspect. A lot of, we couldn't even buy paper plates for the lunch one week because nobody had any. We had to send off for them, have them delivered. So, you know, it's not just in small things, it's in big things too. So we're working on trying to get all of it lit up enough to where you can see people out in your street. But, you know, it takes time, like Chris said, they're working on that.
And it is a security issue, we know that, so it's something that we need to definitely to get done. So we'll get that done. And that's all I have.
I'm not trying to prolong it or anything, but something like turning off a street light because it's shining in somebody's window, I just don't think that's relevant. Get a room darkening curtains for in your house.
And I'm
Because-
not saying that that's why it was.
No, I mean, I know, but I'm just saying
I'm
that
just saying he gets a lot of people up there complaining about that.
yeah, I'm just saying they just need to be told, then get you some room darkening curtains because that's a safety issue.
This rolling sign out here on the outside of the clubhouse, I bet he got 10, 15 people coming up there and telling me that was shining in their windows at night, they couldn't sleep. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, next is the manager's report that I have here, and LW is not here, so I will read it. This is LW's words, not mine.
Not mine.
First off, I would like to thank all the volunteers that put in their time and effort for all the activities that take place here in the park. It is what makes this a great park. We are continuing to make improvements to all areas of the park, and of course, keep up with the repairs of the infrastructure. In fact, we just received a small cement mixer to use to repair small areas of the roadway. Just one more way we can save money on repairs. We finally received the title to the motorhome that has been backed by the compactor, and it will be gone shortly. Actually, I was back there earlier. It's actually been moved. I was able to get the neighbors to fence off the bank back there also so that the cattle won't tear it up. We, as well as the entire world, are dealing with the consequences of COVID-19, and it's ever-evolving variants. We need to be diligent in preventing the spread by doing what we can, but not be living in total fear. So be safe, wash your hands, distance as much as possible, live long and prosper, LW. Okay, the social committee and the hearing committee reports we've already heard. Old business. Old business, I got something for old business. Apparently people still can't get it through their head that the cardboard recycling, if it's overflowing, put your cardboard in the compactor. Don't put it in piles in front of the dumpster. And make a little room by flattening it or crushing it up a little bit. But please stop leaving piles of cardboard boxes in front of the cardboard recycling dumpster. It just adds more work for our crew, and we've asked repeatedly that it be put into the compactor. So if you go back there and you have recycling and it's full, just please put it in the compactor. Anybody else?
Yeah, Chris, thank you.
I have one question on setbacks. Could we get a copy, make it available? And everybody gets a copy of those rules? Not posted, but I can't remember.
A copy of which
The
rules?
setback,
The one from the county?
yeah, well, yeah.
One from us, the change.
Okay, so the change will be incorporated into the rules. We changed some of we adjusted some other rules, and that's all being worked on in one package, and it'll be posted on the website.
And available
this,
for pickup.
This new one will also be posted as it is on the website until it's incorporated into the main package.
That only applies to new people or places coming in.
It applies as of today when it's voted for.
Not playing existing.
Not existing places, no, so we cannot change what people have already done or have approved by prior boards and stuff.
Any other questions on that topic? Real quick, I have something to say. To keep our community safer, I'm asking everybody not to be in such a hurry in the park while they're driving. 2 days ago, all within 2 blocks, I had people in cars leap out, and I almost got hit in my golf cart. We shouldn't be in such a hurry. We're all here to relax. I don't know why everybody's in such a hurry. I'm not, and I'm the youngest in here. We're almost. But quite honestly, a white van pulled out, started to pull out, stopped, and then went. There was enough room, but the thing of it was, she never even saw me. Because when I came alongside her after she stopped on the side of the road, she gave me an expression like the OS, I'm sorry. But not only that, just after that, I went around her. A Jeep Cherokee came out and almost got me. They had to snap on the brakes. So people are not stopping at the stop signs. I mean, I know it's not much of a thing to do, just to really stop and look both ways. You never know. I hate to see somebody get hit for being in a hurry to go where? This is Okeechobee. It's not West Palm Beach. So I'm just asking everybody to give a little bit more thought to it when you're driving around the community. And also, a lot of people are speeding down the Marina Road, I guess, in a rush to get out there and get those crappies. There's plenty of them for everybody. Just say be considerate and look both ways. I do. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, I think that concludes our board meeting for today. Last thing is I know a lot of, hold on a second, I'll get to your question in a second. I know a lot of people stay around to help put up the chairs. We're not gonna put the chairs away today because, no?
I'm gonna change that. We have a 3-inch main water break in the park right now. I need to go. If you would do me a favor, I know y'all follow.
I'll take, Chris, we'll take care of it. We'll take the vinyl ones out and the blue ones
Vinyl
on.
ones out, they go to the tables, blue and silver go on the racks,
Okay.
please. I wanna hug your mics, I gotta go.
All right, we got you, boss. Thank you. Yes, sir.
What's the rules on your storage lot?
The storage lot. I don't
Yes, I
understand the
know
question.
there's a lot of ones double down there.
What do you mean by double?
Well, there's double charge. Either get an extra charge or all getting charged $240.
There shouldn't be people with more than one.
I'm not aware of people. People taking.
I think you're talking about like if there's 2 trailers on that lot, it's your lot, you can park anything that fits on that lot back there for $240. If it fits.
How come some of them are not the same size?
Well,
That's just the way it is, yeah.
It's when the land falls.
Just like our roads and our lots aren't the same size.
There's a lot of money there.
Yep. If there was a way we could get one more row in there, we might could, but.
I thought that was for storage or for iron poles.
It's for whatever you want.
As long as it's mobile. It's gotta be movable.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to adjourn the meeting. The meeting's not adjourned.
No, the meeting's not adjourned.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
No,
Hold on, everybody. Okay, I move to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Yes, Bailey.